But I had the awareness that if I did that, I couldn't also have what I have now.
Looks like we're calling in sick again. Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, Alex Wildeson. It is 2026 and I am recording this episode in 2026. It is so good to be back in the podcast studio. I took most of December off and pre-recorded all of those episodes so I could just relax and rest, which is kind of hard to do when you are doing content creation and podcasting because that's all kind of IRL. But I'm really glad that we did it, because I feel rested and ready to go for this year. Since the last time we caught up in 2025, I hosted for the holidays, and the biggest takeaway for that, I finally understood that boundaries don't have to be personal or emotional. They can just be there to protect your needs, even if that means someone else doesn't get what they want. And that is something that had kept me up at night my entire life. I had a deep fear of disappointing people and not giving them what they want. This holiday season, I finally flexed that muscle, and you know what? I feel really good about it. It was not dramatic. It was, as they say, just business. Cooper and I also celebrated our 6-year wedding anniversary, and we each surprised each other. I did a little content creation gig with Sky Tours Austin, and they took us up in a prop plane for a private tour at sunset over Austin, Texas, and it was gorgeous. We got to see beautiful Austin in the middle of the day, the unreal Texas sunsets that are here, and the city lit up for the New Year's. If you didn't know, Cooper and I got married New Year's Eve 2019. It was a blast. And thank goodness that surprise plan actually gelled with Cooper's surprise plans, which was a dinner downtown and a staycation for 2 days at a hotel so we could relive our early married days when we lived in downtown Austin. We had a blast. So happy, so much fun. I did not overdo it, to my own surprise. Screaming, crying, throwing up. Pretty sure it's because I started Imuran, and I do think that's starting to help. Pain, still pretty bad. Energy, fatigue, brain fog, slightly improved. And we will take that as a win. I am hoping, as I continue to titrate up on the dosing, I start feeling a lot better. Maybe this medicine is the secret sauce, and it's going to be the one that helps me. And I am on this new medication because I'm going to be titrating off of Rituxan. Because if you did not catch last week's episode or my Instagram this last week, Cooper and I got the news that we are now medically cleared to try to have a baby this year, and we are so excited. I can't wait. I don't know. I think this news has transformed me as a human being. I feel way more confident. I feel back to my joyous little bubbly sunshine self, and I am very ready to just jump feet first into the deep end of this next journey and chapter. I cannot wait. And I can't wait to bring you guys along with me, because right now in my seat, I'm looking around and I don't have anybody I can turn to that has a chronic illness, that has had to taper or stay on some medications while they're trying to conceive and while pregnant. And I wish I had someone I could ask all these questions to. So I will become that resource for you guys, but waving my arms, I'm one experience. And as we know, everybody's body is a little snowflake in this chronic illness world. But I will still share everything. But we're not talking about any of that this week. This is not an Alex Ketchup episode. This is, in fact, a guest episode, and I have the badass Tara Rule on the podcast. You might know her from social media. She is iconically hilarious. The funniest skits on TikTok I have ever seen. She is actually someone that inspired me to start making skits when I first started content creating back in 2024. She's also an actor. She's a filmmaker currently making a documentary, and a disability rights activist. And she's also chronically sick. She's got Ehlers-Danlos and all of those lovely comorbidities that come along with it, which she gets into in the episode. Speaking of this week's episode, we talk about things like masking ourselves to fit in more, navigating career and life pivots because of our chronic illnesses, but still finding joy in this optimistic spirit, and the weird things that align between the creative world and the chronic illness community. I have a feeling that you guys are going to be nodding your head and dying laughing in this week's episode, and I can't wait to hear what you think. But before we dive in, quick housekeeping. If you could please smash that subscribe button, as the YouTubers say, and give us a follow on socials, rate the show, comment on the show. All of those things really, really help us grow. And this year I've got some lofty goals on where I want to take the podcast, but I can only get there with your help. Oh, and a quick brain fog jump around. Substack. Every single week we are posting on our Instagrams a Q&A form that you can fill out to have either me or our guest answer your most pressing questions. That Q&A will then be posted onto our Substack, but you have to be a paid subscriber to get access to it. The Q&A that we got this week was about what we would have changed to get a correct diagnosis potentially earlier, when we knew it was time to quit our 9-to-5 jobs and jump into content creating full force, and how I'm planning to make motherhood sustainable and accessible. So our Substack subscribers will get to hear those answers. But that's not all you get access to with a Substack subscription. You also get access to multiple group chats. We have one for trauma dumping and shit talking, one for happy news and celebrating, and one for questions. You get early access to sign up for virtual and IRL events. You get to read my blog posts, the guest blog posts, and we're doing community spotlights where we showcase you and your story. And if you're running a business or have anything that you want to shout out on, that's the place to do it. Subscribers are also going to have the early access and be in the first group to beta test the app. So excited. Help us design future merch or even model our merch, and join FaceTimes hosted by yours truly, but where we all can talk and hang out. So if you haven't yet, go check out our Substack link in the description below and join the community. And as a quick thank you, my Alex's picks for the week. Last week on socials, I dropped my lip routine and you guys went crazy. People thought I got lip filler. There were lots of questions, but alas, I did not get lip filler. I just finally figured out the lips that work with my lips. So I got some discount codes for you guys. The first shout out product for this lip routine is Sacheu Beauty. I use their lip liner stain in pink, which is color number 3. And you can use code Alexandra15 for 15% off at checkout. I had never enjoyed using lip liner. It always looked bad on me. It smudged. It just was not a good scene for my face. But when I tried Sacheu's lip liner, I fell in love. It's a stain. It's totally different than anything I've seen before. And it actually works. And it actually stays on and does not transfer. You can use code Alexandra15 for 15% off at checkout. The second step of this lip routine is Thrive Causemetics Sheer Strength Lip Plumping Peptide Gloss. That's a mouthful. And I'm using color Bambi. I love this product because 1, it's good for your lips. There's peptides. It is doing the Lord's work healing, making sure those things aren't peeling. 2, it's plumping. So it is giving you a little room to those lips without injections or a flare up. And 3, it stays on for a long ass time. Cooper hates the spiciness of my lip plumping gloss, so he will only give me forehead kisses when I'm wearing them. And the other day he said, "Can you stop wearing this? I haven't been able to kiss you all day." That's right. This lip plumping gloss stayed on these lips for like 8 hours. And if that isn't a miracle, I don't know what is. I am working on a discount code for you guys for that one, so check in the description below to see if I locked it in before this episode airs. And if you want to see the how-to guide on doing this whole routine, go check out my Instagram. It's saved in my skincare and makeup highlights. Okay, and enough about all of that. It is time to dive into this week's episode with Tara Rule. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Tara as much as I did. I ended up talking to her for another 2 hours after I finished recording because I love her. Anyway, enjoy, and I will see you next week. I love you. Tara?
Hi. How you doing?
We are doing. I've got some cutesy brain fog today. What about you?
Yes. Also brain fog.
Fuck yes.
So it'll be an interesting show.
We'll just be like soft lobbing the ping pong ball to each other. Do you follow Samantha Duran on Instagram?
Yeah,
she's
one of my friends.
I love her. Same.
Me too.
Do you have her shirt, bimbo with brain fog?
No, but I need to get one.
Oh, repping it right now. It's adorable.
Yeah, I need to get one. I'll have to hit her up.
We need to have like a little chronic illness girlies just fashion shuffle.
100%.
I think it'd be really fun.
Right.
Already on a tangent, which I'm not surprised that this episode's going to go in that direction several times.
Yep.
So, for those that don't know you, will you give your little rundown spiel of who you are, your diseases, and what you do?
Yeah. So I'm Tara. I'm originally from upstate New York, and I now live in Los Angeles, California. I do content creation, a lot of skits and educational content. I am an actor, a filmmaker, a disability rights activist, mostly in the healthcare world. And I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and all, the fun and company that goes with it, POTS and everything else that goes along with it. POTS.
POTS. Do you have MCAS? Mm-hmm. The lovely trifecta?
I do. I have the dark triad, as I like to call it.
That's a wonderful naming for that.
Yeah.
The real devil's threesome.
Mm-hmm. That part.
Mm-hmm. How did you get diagnosed? What age were you?
Uh, 32. I got diagnosed like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
I did not realize that. I thought you'd been sick for like a long ass time.
So I've been sick most of my life. I was
There we go.
in and out of the hospital and mostly bedbound for about 10 years, but they didn't know what was wrong with me, so they did the good old throw everything to the wall to see what sticks, not knowing that I had immune system dysregulation and MCAS. So every time they're like, maybe it's MS, and they give me MS, they're like, that didn't work. Chemo, that made it work. So I kind of got sicker
Before
I got better, which, you know, all the different things they were throwing at me created like a systemic autoimmune response, which gave me autoimmune encephalitis. So I experienced psychosis, very much like brain on fire type.
Holy shit, dude.
Type beat, and I lost my ability to walk, couldn't talk, couldn't communicate, couldn't read, couldn't write. So I've spent the last, you know, however many years regaining basic function, and then, you know, luckily over the past 3 or so years I've been more stable because a doctor in New York City, it's like a shot in the dark because I was in organ shutdown and I was dying. So last ditch effort, I posted my entire medical records on Reddit, which, as you can imagine, I didn't get roasted at all, especially including the photos of what my body was doing. You know, it was very kind, nurturing environment over there. But I did get a message from someone. They're like, hey, check out this doctor in New York City. I reached out. I was like, hey, my doctors are pretty much giving up. We're considering hospice. I can fax you my medical records because my mom had cataloged them over the years. They're all indexed. It's a specialist, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, it's going to take 8 months to get in there. I'm like, I probably got like 3 months to live.
I'll be
so
dead
like,
before I can even get in.
Yeah, I was like, if y'all could maybe put me in on cancellation, that'd be cool. If not, thank you very much. And I got a call a few hours later, and she's like, can you get down to New York this Thursday? And I was like, yeah. I went down to see this doctor. Dr. Kyriakos Kiro saved the day at Hospital for Special Surgery. He's a rheumatologist. I walked in, and he had all my medical records highlighted, which I was like, damn, he really went through this. And
there's probably like a stack like this, too.
Oh, it was huge. And
we love this man.
We love him. And he, at the end of it, he's like, so, you know, I don't know exactly what's wrong with you. I was like, as expected, thank you very much. I'll see you later. And he goes, no. I mean, I don't know what your underlying reason is, but I can tell you what is actively happening is you have an autoimmune response. He's like, it's not an autoimmune disease. That's not the problem. Your body's freaking out for some reason. I don't know why, but we need to shut down your immune system. So he put me on this type of chemo and Cellcept, which they give to people getting an organ transplant. And
that shit fucks with your brain.
Yeah, I definitely had some psychological issues while on it.
Ditto.
However, it immediately made me turn around, and I was on it for 5 years.
Amazing.
And yeah, it completely saved my life, and it re-regulated my immune system. So now it's more or less back to where it was prior to the autoimmune response. So
that's huge.
Yeah, it's been a long journey of trying to figure out what was going on, and just lack of knowledge of an underlying genetic disorder really kind of, you know, screwed things up a little bit.
Just a wee bit. That's honestly really interesting to hear that. For those that don't know, I've been in a clinical study at UPenn, and one of the doctors there said that his biggest concern was me getting over-medicated. He was like, I'm just worried that, like, with the diseases that you have that are hard to shut down, like, someone's going to give you something that will set you back really far. And honestly, I didn't take it that seriously, but it's stuck in my brain since then. It's like the only quote that I literally have ingrained in my brain. So it's really interesting to hear your story and, like, how that caused you to backslide. And now I'm
Yeah, I'm off almost all my medications. I take 2 daily medications, and that's it.
Shit, girl, that's so fucking impressive.
It is, but it's also like a lot of physical therapy, and my diet is extraordinarily strict, fitness extraordinarily strict. Like, you know, we have to kind of live like
You have to
a
offset it.
militant lifestyle in order
Very much
to,
so.
have any sort of
Normalcy.
stability and normalcy, which, is very difficult when you work in entertainment because
Oh, yes.
there's no stability there.
No stability there. A constant demand for being on. Like, so many questions for you about how you navigate that and keep yourself, like, able to show up. So I'd love to dive into that. Like, how, one, also just, like, pure fascination. How the fuck did you get into acting? Like, that's so cool.
So I always liked it when I was a little kid. I started acting when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I joined like a little local theater group.
Cute.
I was in theater in high school. I always wanted to be an actor. That was always what I wanted. Like something in the creative world, like an actor, an artist, a musician, something like that. But I really loved acting. And I didn't know what I wanted to do for college. I know I liked popping people's blackheads. So my mom's like, if you don't know what you want to do, why don't you just like go to aesthetic school? It's like a 1-year program.
Yeah.
You'll at least have something to do. Did that. That kind of led me into like makeup. But I was like, I don't really like doing makeup on people that much. But then somebody was like, well, you should do them on dead people. And I was like, oh, word? Okay. So then I was like trying to get a job as, a funeral cosmetologist, basically. Yeah. And then everywhere I went was like, oh, we don't hire just makeup artists. You have to learn how to do it all. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to mortuary science school. So then I went to school for mortuary science and became a funeral director for a while. Cause I was like, I don't know that everyone had, not everyone, but a lot of people have a dream of becoming somebody or being an actor. And I was like, that's kind of immature. That's not realistic. Let me go do this thing. And then when I was literally on my deathbed in the ICU and I'm like, I'm like actively dying. Right. And like, by the way, dying rocks. And there's nothing to fear there. For anyone who's scared, it feels so good, bro. I was like, damn, this feels great. I was so like, yeah. But like, I also somehow had an awareness that like, I can lean into this right like most comfortable I've ever been in my life feeling. And I can really lean into that. But I had the awareness that if I did that, I couldn't also have what I have now. And I just didn't feel like I felt I had unfinished business. I didn't know I was dying, but on some level, I think my soul knew. Yeah. And, I probably would have ended up being a ghost or something. So I was like,
you would have. You definitely would have.
Right? I'm like, let me just finish what I started, I guess. And I just remember like trying to swim upward is the best way I can describe it. Like physically trying to swim upward. And then, I woke up.
Wow.
And my mom was like, oh my God. Like everyone was so happy that I woke up, And immediately I was like, F.
I'm not done.
I made the wrong choice. This sucks.
Can we rewind a few seconds?
Right. But, when I was kind of grappling with that, I told you, I had really lost my faith along the way.
Makes sense.
And I was like, all right, how about this? God, the universe, whatever. If you get me out of this, I'll go follow my dreams and I promise to help other people. But I will follow my dreams because, I'll go be an actor or something. And then once I was medically stable, I was like,
I made a
well, I guess
universe.
I gotta go, I made a binding contract with the overseeing agency of the universe. So I gotta go do that. You know what I mean? So that's really, I started doing short films. I've had some like friends and mentors along the way who just kind of gave me a chance. And I came out to Hollywood with zero expectations because I was like, I'm going to be a very small fish in a very large pond. And I was surprised, not to brag, but I was surprised that like I wasn't really treated like a small fish in a large pond. And my social media following has made a massive difference in the jobs I get, which I'm very grateful for, but in the same breath, I'm like, man, that really that kind of sucks because I'm sure there are way better actors out there that are like not getting jobs because they like don't have a following. I don't know.
I think if you are like living in that alignment, not to get too woo-woo, but if you're living in what you are supposed to do and like you've made this pact with God and the universe.
Yeah.
Then the things that are supposed to happen start happening. Like that's not just because you have a following. That's because of who you are and because of like this greater mission I think you're trying to serve, which is really fucking cool. Also, I want to rewind. So you went to mortician school and then almost died?
Yeah, so
what a full circle moment.
It was weird. I had to stop being a funeral director because I couldn't. There were ethical concerns at the funeral home anyway, but outside of that, I was really starting to have a health decline, and
I feel like it's probably good to like step away from that.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with the job, and
it sounds like a lot to carry.
And to be honest, like, I think it was just, like, the little goth girl in me was like, this will be cool. This is a cool, edgy job. And, like, I should have left the day we started anatomy and I saw my first dead body. I should have dipped. Because I was like...
Did it freak you out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really freaked me out. And I'm like, I spent a lot of time on rotten.com. I'll be fine. Bro, no, it's so different in person. And, like, I didn't have the heart or the stomach for it. Because I cried every time I had to work on... Every time I had to work on... somebody, I would cry, I would talk to them, but I was also like, no disrespect to them because they're dead, but like just so viscerally disgusted.
I would be too.
And just like constantly feeling like I'm gonna faint.
Well, the smell is not great.
It's so bad. I can't. And God bless people who do that because
Lord's work. Really?
Yeah, for real. I couldn't. I stuck it out for a long time because I'm stubborn, but I really should have just been like, nah, this ain't for me. But
well, the universe had greater plans for you. They just had to force you to like meet your maker and then get you on your merry way.
I do think it was good though. I think it was good to really like face more, our own mortality in such a real way.
100%.
Just like, yeah, it was very eye-opening to work with, with the dead, I guess.
I think if we don't learn a lesson, we get shown that lesson time and time again. So 100%. There's probably something that you were being shown in working that job that you didn't fully appreciate until you yourself had a near-death experience.
I kind of felt like it was preparing me, too. Like this preparation of like, like in that moment where I had the choice, I felt I had a choice to lean into, leaving my physical body or remaining in the 3D world here. I feel like I may have made a different choice had I not worked as a funeral director, because you really see that, like, even if you go to a wake with an open casket, it's like, there's almost part of you that, like, you can almost envision, like, oh, maybe they get up at some point, but, like, you really, really see that, like, when your body is dead, it's dead. It's dead. It ain't coming back. No. And I think the finality of that, working with the dead, really, I think it did change my decision a bit more, because I realized the permanence of it, at least with the physical body, That
makes a lot of sense. And also, like, dealing with the aftermath of death, of, like, the loved ones, the family, the friends, the community around that person. Like, that is one thing I think I've always realized about death, is that it's sad when somebody dies. The pain, though, is for those that are around that person.
Yeah, 100%.
So deeply. It's crazy. Anyway, with learning with your autoimmune diseases throughout this whole thing and then going to LA, where were you in your journey at that point? Had you gotten your diagnosis?
I had just gotten my diagnosis a year prior. So I came here in January of 2024.
Okay. God, I didn't realize that it was like all this sudden. That's crazy.
It was very sudden. My health was it was more stable than it had been. A whole sidebar story, which would probably have to be an entirely different podcast. I'm in a massive hospital lawsuit with the hospital conglomerate in upstate New York, meaning I can't get care there. So I had, that's why I had to move around so much, because as you know, not many places in the country specialize in EDS.
No, very few. Very few.
The next closest place was Jacksonville, Florida. So I went down to Jacksonville, Florida. I was down there for a while. And I, was having a really tough time. I was like, I'm going to go to LA for like a couple weeks. I'm going to see if I like it. If for no other reason, then I know I'm extraordinarily sensitive to mold, mildew, and to pressure changes. Like I do really okay in the summer in upstate New York because it's a high pressure system.
Uh-huh.
But with constant rain, it fluctuates. So I was like, let me see how I feel when I go to the desert. Mm-hmm. The second I landed in LA, it was like I could think because I felt like oxygenated oxygenated blood was getting to my brain.
It's the same thing. Yes.
I was there for 2 weeks and I remember calling my parents and being like, I can't come back. And I'm sorry. I don't know how we're going to do this, but like, and my parents were skeptical a little bit at first, but now they're just, as much as they miss me, they're so happy because they're like, moving was the biggest thing, and I'm very privileged to have been able to do that. I mean, I had nowhere to go, really. I was trying to scrape together anywhere I could stay, kind of just not having anywhere to go. But it made such a difference to have physical stability in a way I hadn't experienced before, because it's always the same pressure system out here. The weather really doesn't change that much. It really doesn't rain. And my body's so sensitive.
I'm so curious if the like autoimmune chronic illness population is higher or lower in certain states, because I would imagine California is lower. Like you pay the premium because you're going to feel a lot better.
I think it depends. So one thing I have noticed, which I've never had issues with before, is some respiratory stuff.
Interesting.
Because the air quality is the air quality is terrible out here, and I'm in the valley, so like it's just all sitting on me. But it's
that.
Other than that, I do feel a lot better, and I think it probably depends on how someone's autoimmune condition manifests. And I also know with POTS, some people do really bad in the heat with POTS. I do really well in the heat with POTS. Yeah. I don't do well in the cold, because as soon as my blood vessels like constrict, they won't do anything.
I'm the same. Vasculitis, similar. Like cold just crushes me. Unbelievable pain.
Same.
I think that I want to move to California.
You should.
I really love it
you
there.
can come at least visit.
Okay.
And see if you like it, because it's really.
My
really
husband's
nice.
from San Diego, and we go pretty often.
Oh, nice.
And every time we're there, I'm like, golly, my body feels so good. I'm so happy. It's so nice here. But I will say, like, living in Texas, I have gotten and I didn't grow up here. I've just lived here for now 13 years. Ooh, that's a gross amount of time. Did not anticipate that I'd be here for this long.
Right.
No knocking to Texas, but it is really cheap here. And I've gotten so accustomed to that. I went from the Midwest to Texas, so it's like I've never had sticker shock before. And so when I look at Zillow, I'm like, sheer panic.
Yes.
But I think quality of life is like inarguably so much better there.
And it's really one of those things where it was non-negotiable for me. It's like, I will figure it out. I mean, I'm on disability, right? I wasn't working as an actor at the time. So I was like, I have no income. I get $800 a month in Social Security.
Amazing.
And the cheapest apartment you can get out here is going to be $1,500 a month, period. So like,
100%.
I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure out a way. And luckily I've had so many people in California, like my buddy Jackson, who I met online, was just like so helpful, immediately like welcomed me with open arms. You can stay at my house as long as you need. My friend Ken was like, I'll put you up in my best friend's back house. You can stay as long as you want. Like I had so many people who were rooting for me with my health that I was able to like, have a chance. And I think staying in New York would have killed me. I really do. Like I kind of think the winters. Too. I'm trying to get my mom out of there as quickly as possible, because she's got Ehlers-Danlos, which she also didn't know until I got diagnosed. She's got a lot of the same medical problems.
All right, come on, Mom.
It's not as bad as mine, because I got lucky enough to get hit on both sides, because my dad also had a connective tissue disorder. So I'm like double.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that double parent illness
rocks.
It fucking rocks. Question for you. When you moved to LA, you were a content creator already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did you feel like I guess, did you have to like redefine your identity living there, being a content creator and acting? Or like, how did you navigate blending all of these different worlds together?
I don't think I really changed much of anything, to be honest with you. I think being independent for the first time, because I'm like, I think people, I find people are surprised when they find out I'm like almost 35. And
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
And I think it's and I'm like, oh, thank you. But also I think it's because like, I don't feel 35. I feel more like I'm in my early 20s because I've had, I was in college, I got a career, and then my life stopped entirely until very recently. So I kind of have a bit of
with catching up to do.
Yeah, like a lot of emotional maturity, but a lot of arrested development otherwise. So, this is my first big girl apartment, quote unquote. And I think being on, my own, not being close to my family or friends, I think I had to very quickly learn to regulate because I was in a lot of stressful situations and I had no one to help me. So I think my content shifted a bit in terms of just reflecting how I've shifted. More regulated, taking therapy super seriously, constantly working on myself and my nervous system, my mental health, and my spiritual health. But otherwise, I really didn't change much of anything. I continued to make funny skits, yapping about social commentary, some, political stuff, and talking about, my health conditions and stuff when appropriate. I don't like to hog the mic with that, you know what I mean? Because I think I'm pretty privileged in the way that my condition presents. So
I very similarly.
I don't want to be the poster child for Ehlers-Danlos because people can look at me and be like, "Well, your life looked pretty cool," and it is. Yeah. And I am in pain, and you can't see that, and that's fine. But there are so many people I know with Ehlers-Danlos and company that just are just so more so in the position I was in for 10 years. And some of them don't get better. Like I've gotten better. So I don't want to be like, this is the experience of people with EDS. Cause it's just not, it's such like a narrow, and also my experience is going to be different. Like being like pretty and white and like, it's just like, I'm not going to have the same experience as everybody else. So, but I do, if something comes up, I do talk about.
But you can be privileged and also still have a really shit time, and you did have a shit time, and people only see the surface of that, and they don't know what that costs you behind the scenes, because I'm sure you can relate to this as a content creator. I feel like everyone gets 1% of my life, but they think it's 100% of my life, and there's a lot that's behind the scenes that nobody knows about, but 100%. People think that they know a lot about you. Correct. And I'm glad that they connect with that. But there's no world where you can share 100% of your life. Also, I don't think anyone actually wants to share 100% of their life. So even though, yes, I totally agree with you, like, we're privileged, we have had extraordinary lives, we've had wonderful access to care now. Yeah. I think both of us should not undersell that we had shitty experiences too.
Oh, 100%.
Hard fucking pain.
100%. And and obviously there's just overarching issues that are applicable to people regardless of severity of condition or presentation. True. And I think it would be foolish of me to not utilize the cognitive functioning I have now that I didn't have for about 10 years, where I can articulate myself well, because I know there's so many people, much like I did, who like wanted to raise awareness about certain issues, but like you physically cannot speak, or you don't have the cognitive function to be able to. You can't
find the words.
Right. So it's like, it kind of feels like part of the deal I made with the universe. Like, okay, I have the ability to talk about some of this stuff that's going to affect people all the way from like a condition that maybe just affects them every now and again to like people who are completely bedbound, and can't function at all. So
100%. And it's such a privilege to be able to be a voice in this community and 100%. To help raise awareness, no matter what our current symptoms look like. Like during the worst times, I'm glad that I can share that. And I'm glad I can show the average, normal, boring days too, because I think it allows people to see like what a full life we live, that there are these dynamic swings. And that's just what it's like living with a chronic illness.
We gotta all be supportive, and like, whether, if somebody's sharing their honest experience, we should be supportive of that. But Agreed. Also, I think people, even within the community, sometimes, like, somehow forget that, like, sometimes we don't have a lot of people around. There's, able to support us emotionally in the sense that they understand what we're going through. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you just got to cry it out online, like, for real. Like, I do.
Totally agree.
I do. I mean, people call it the Tara Crash Out Eras tour, because I had a whole year where it was just crash out. I was like a crash out creator, but, like, I was going through hell, you know what I mean? And
yes.
And I know some people are like, well, I don't want to see that on my algorithm. It's triggering. Okay, then don't follow them. I don't know what to tell you, but, like, I think, within our own community, like the chronic illness community and stuff, I obviously, if I see one of my friends crying in bed or something, I'm like, oh, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to, like, text them or reach out to them, or, whatever. I'm just going to listen to them, because it's like, yeah, I wish somebody would listen to me sometimes who gets it. Because, like, people can't, even the people who love you the most, they can't
grasp it fully unless
they look at it. And it's, like, so freaking frustrating, because there's truly no words to express the devastation of just, like, this is not fair.
It isn't fair.
And life isn't fair, and I understand that, and I think we can, at least I tend to find a reason or a lesson in everything. That's the only way I can cope.
Me too. It's a sense of optimism, but not toxic positivity, I think.
Correct. But there have been times in my life where I've been in so much pain or so sick,
or so
where
depressed.
I'm like, if I had the physical ability to end this, I would. And I would beg doctors, please put me in a coma. Please put me in hospice. Please end this. Please end this. Please end this. Like, it's like, I get it. I get both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think it's good to have both sides. I think if there were only chronic illness content creators that were sad and there was no other content creator, that would not be a good world. Mm-hmm. If there were only chronic illness content creators that were toxically positive or overly optimistic, that wouldn't be a good world either. We have to have that range, and I'm glad that the algorithm is different on these different social media apps, because it shows the range.
Exactly.
And as long as, like, we are all out here creating content showing what our lives are like, that sheds light. That's doing good in this world. And it doesn't matter if you're crashing out or laughing. Like,
right.
It's showing the lived experience.
Exactly.
Speaking of showing the real experience, your job, acting.
Yes.
How do you feel like you have to navigate playing fine to get jobs, or, like, to play sick enough to get different roles, if that makes sense?
So when I first came out here and I was, I've always wanted to be an actor. I was making no effort to get acting jobs. And then they were like, TikTok's going to get banned. And I'm like, shit, I'm homeless. And now I'm going to lose. And, TikTok really doesn't pay anyway, to be honest with you. People think followers
they pay jack shit.
Yeah. But, like, even a couple extra $100 a month when you only get $800 a month makes a big ass difference.
Yes,
right?
It does.
So I'm like, damn, what am I going to do? So I was like, I guess I'll try to get acting jobs, right? And I know a lot of people in, industry people, and they're like, whatever you do, don't tell people that you have a medical condition. I said, well, why?
I was wondering.
Kind of like, everything else, like, well, it's they see it as a liability, right?
That's what corporate world's the exact same.
I didn't take that advice, if for no other reason than that's not gonna work for me.
Ditto, dude. I can't fake anything. Like I'll be straight up with people. Like, if I get a job opportunity, so if it's like a short thing, fine. But like, if it's like, multiple days or multiple weeks of work, I'm straight up like, I really appreciate this. I need you to know, though, I got a health condition. So, a lot of times I'm fine. Sometimes it flares up. If I need a break, bro, it's like, I'm going to pass out if I don't take one. Yes.
And like, there is a potential for having to reschedule stuff. I just want to be upfront and honest with you. Because if that, I understand that productions are very like, well-oiled machine. And totally. I have found that, at least in my experience, everyone I've worked with has been extremely accommodating.
That makes me really happy to
hear. They
haven't
been like, and like, no one I haven't lost any jobs because of it. There have obviously been a handful of people, I'd say more so in the fashion modeling world, who have been more so what I would have expected as far as ableism goes. However, I've been pleasantly surprised with the acting world. Everyone seems pretty understanding and chill about it. And
why do you think that is? Is
I
it
don't
like
know.
just people that are actors usually have, in my opinion, when I read about them, I'm like, oh, they have such interesting backstories and lives and whatnot that drove them to want to be an actor. So I almost wonder if like that's part of the acceptance. Is that the right
I
word?
I don't it could be. I don't really know. I couldn't really tell you, but I mean just from doing my own films, what I do know is like when you're casting, like you've got a character in mind and
Yeah.
then like that character comes along, it's like I don't care what your situation is, bro. We got you, you're them, and we're gonna have to
Yeah.
make it work. And I think that could be some of it is just like if you fit,
The
if you
part.
are the character they wrote, then
Yeah.
it's like we'll do whatever we need because you're the character. Like it's it's not like we can find somebody else who's gonna do this right.
Yeah.
So I
It's
think
almost black and white, which is
yeah.
weird when we live in such a world that has to be gray.
Right. And I think, the modeling world is more like, oh, you're pretty, you have to show up or something. And then it's like, oh, and it's like, well, there's 20 other skinny white girls we can pick from. Fuck
Totally.
you. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yep. And when you have an invisible because there was like that whole moment where there was a lot of disability washing going on in the modeling world. But you have an invisible disability. So that's different. Like you can't show up and be like, I'm also disabled. Or maybe you can. I'm just not
Yeah.
very well versed in it. But in my opinion, they'd be like, well, we can't tell that you're disabled when we need visibly disabled models
Correct.
for this.
Yes, yes. And, I have been presented opportunities, where they're looking for disabled actors and stuff. Depending on what it is, like obviously some of them are like, we want someone who's visibly disabled, but like more so things where they want like a more generalized experience to like talk to people.
Yeah.
I haven't been excluded from that. Like I feel like they are integrating more invisible quote unquote
That's
disabilities into, inclusion, at least in entertainment, which is
I agree with that.
nice.
Well, I think it's because chronic illness hits the entertainment. Like that, no one is protected from getting and developing a fucking terrible chronic illness. It's there.
I feel like everyone I've met out here who like everyone from like, smaller names to like really like big name people, a lot of them are sick.
Yeah, I think
A
it's like
lot
the
of them are
constant
sick.
stress.
It could be, or I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's so many people that you would never know, and you're just like, oh wow, and they don't want people to know, and that's fine, but it's been surprising because I really thought it was going to be a hindrance, but it's also just seems to be so commonplace.
I also wonder if that, because I'm trying to like connect dots of why that could happen. When you are chronically sick and you get forced to go onto disability or step away from whatever career you were pursuing, you either go on disability, which is perfectly fine and acceptable and good, or you decide I'm going to chase my dreams and recreate myself. And a lot of people go and do that, and they turn to content creating or modeling or acting. And I think maybe that's why it's all these people that are having this, well, it's my last ditch effort, might as well fucking try to chase my dreams.
100%.
And that's really crazy to say, but I think that might be one of the reasons there's such a pipeline there. Like, if
I
you've
think
lost
so.
everything else, why not chase your dreams?
I think so, and I think a lot of creative people are neurodivergent, and
Yes.
there is such a pipeline between neurodivergence, hypermobility, the dark
Yes.
triad, and obviously not just that. Obviously neurodivergence shows up in a number of ways, but I do, from what some of the statistics I've been reading, and I try to keep up on things, it does seem that neurodivergent people do have more chronic health conditions.
Yeah, there's
than
definitely an association there.
neurotypicals.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a huge correlation between creativity and neurodivergence. So I think it's like so many factors at play.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've been very happy that I just decided to take the honest route, and it so far has not hindered me, but we'll see how things go, because I've been very careful in what jobs I take, because I get scared. I'm like, what if I don't feel good or I flare up, so I'm really trying to slowly push myself past the fear and be like, let me try it, and like build my tolerance slowly for like, okay, I can work for this many days now, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would imagine that would be really stressful, the fear of like disappointing people are kind of like backstopping a project, that would make me also very, very like nervous to do things. But I'm really proud of you for not letting that hold you back.
Thanks. I think I'm just scared of not feeling good.
Yeah.
And like that, you know, I can push through, you know, things. I think it's so, and again, I'm so grateful that I have enough good days where feeling bad is, quote, triggering as opposed to status quo.
Yeah.
But like my tolerance for not feeling well is so low at this point. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously I never feel well, but like,
No.
you know when you've pushed yourself too far, right?
It sucks.
And I am so freaked. I get so freaked out when I feel like that, when I haven't gotten enough sleep, and then my nervous system is doing weird stuff, and my pulse is too high, and I feel like I'm going to throw up and pass out and all this stuff. It's so upsetting to me, which I'm working on in therapy, but like,
good.
It's still, that's the fear. It's less so I'm going to let someone down. It's more so I never want to feel like that because I hate it. Yeah. I hate it.
I think it's interesting because you're in a different spot in your health than I am right now. And I remember when I was in your spot, which was like 2 years ago before my bought spinal surgery.
Yeah.
And that was my fear too, of like backsliding. I was like, I worked so hard. I'm finally in this like better state. Mm-hmm. I've got to keep this going at all costs. And now that I'm kind of, you know, like in the shitter a little bit again, my fear is not getting worse because I'm already there. My fear is disappointing people by saying yes to something and committing to something in this new career that I'm pursuing.
Right.
And I think it's interesting. Like, I don't know if I fully always appreciate the other pendulum swing in the moment, but it's so there of like when you're chronically sick, even when you're good, quote unquote, it's still with you so much every single day. And it does dictate how you move around in the world.
It really does. It's a hell I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, for sure.
Same.
Know?
One of my questions for you in the acting bucket as well. We both love doing the TikTok lip syncs. Those fucking slap. I love making them. You love making them. How did you jump from that to memorizing scripts? My brain fog will be like, no, girl.
So I have missed out on a number of good opportunities that could have been quite lucrative for me because of deadlines for auditions where that day my brain is not cooperating and I cannot understand the words in front of me. I can't read them. My vision is screwed up that day. I can't see well enough. And, you know, there have been a number of times where I haven't been able to do it. So, you know, I just chalk it up to, well, if it's meant for me, then it'll be good. But if it's not, then fine. But I think, especially since like the encephalitis, which kind of nuked a bunch of parts of my brain, I have
tends to do that.
I have things I can do that I couldn't previously do. For instance, I kind of have like a photographic memory. So
the brain is crazy.
Isn't it so weird?
My brother had brain cancer and his brain rewired where like his memory is insane.
It's so weird. Like there's so many things I could do that I couldn't previously do. And you know, as far as reading lines, I found that like I look at a script like I'm like, you know, when you're listening to it, like you're eavesdropping on a juicy conversation you want to recount to someone later. It's actually, even though you only hear it once, it's really easy to tell your friend, then they said this, then they said that. Because you're remembering the content of the conversation. So I'll read a script as if I'm eavesdropping on someone. Then I just try to remember, what was the conversation about? How would I portray this? And then I just look at it like 2 or 3 times. And then I can just remember remember what the conversation was about. And then like I can just see the script in my head. And I can read things in my head, kind of like
dude, my jaw has been on the floor for like at least 30 seconds. What?
Yeah, and then I can just like look at like in my head I can like just like read it in, you know, like I'm looking at a picture almost.
You're literally incredible. That's so sick.
Yeah, I thank God I can though, because otherwise I'd be cooked. Because like
100% brain fog plus memorizing shit's pretty bad.
So bad.
Oh, so with that in mind and like having to sit out on some roles, how has your definition of success changed with being like pursuing being an actor and being an actor in LA but not getting because I feel like a lot of us are type A and we're used to getting what we go after.
Right.
So how do you navigate that with all of this in mind?
I've been kind of looking at it. I mean, I guess honestly, like, you know, as much as like you want to be where you want to be, there's also the fact that like nothing is ever, and not to say I'm not grateful, because I am. And every day I'm just like, oh my God, that's amazing. And anytime something cool or amazing happens, I like think about it every day for the rest of my life.
Yes.
But it's like, there's not going to ever be a point in my life where I'm like, okay, like, let's say I win an Oscar, right? Then it's like, well, now I need to win this or do that. It will never be enough.
No, it never will.
And that's good. And I'm happy about that, because otherwise life sounds kind of boring to me. Because then it's like, what do you do when you're done? You know, I don't feel like I'll ever be done. So with that in mind, I've recognized that the opportunities I've been presented have been coming to me when I'm ready for them and when I can take them. And in a way that I am able to, because at this point, one of my biggest barriers is my trauma with regard to my health and fear of not being able to do the job. Yep. So it's been building in a way that's like, I'm slowly building my tolerance. And I feel as though if I came out here and immediately got my big break, I don't know that I would have physically been able to handle it, or mentally or emotionally, because I'd be so paralyzed with the what if I can't keep up. So I've been feeling like more so slow and steady kind of wins the race type vibe.
I feel that exactly about content creating. I'm not kidding. I said it to Cooper last night. I was like, I'm really glad that it's been at this pace, because I can sustain this pace.
Exactly. And like, you know, I'm building my tolerance over time. And I think all of these experiences are teaching me how to
show up.
Yeah. And I think also, you know, something else I realized that's really helped my fear is like, it's really like if you have background roles or extra roles, that's the most difficult. Like if you can do that, you're going to be good. Because when you have like, you know, a big A-lister on set, right? They come out to do the take, and then they leave, and then a stand-in comes in to do all the blocking and everything else. The amount of hours they're standing or actually doing work is way less. And if you get big enough, it's like on your schedule. Hey, I can only be there from this exact moment to this exact moment. No breaks, no nothing, and it has to be in the middle of the night because blah, 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 blah. They'll make it happen. So if I can do this part of like, you know, kind of like, quote, paying my dues. Then I don't have anything to fear, because I was always afraid, what if I make it bigger and it's going to be more physical pressure on me?
And it won't be.
It won't. So that's a relief. And I think I'm just really, I'm actually happy with the pace of things. I don't know that I would be, or I would have been the past year, ready for like my big break. I feel like there is one coming. That's just like what I feel, but I feel as though it's going to be, you know, not immediate. I guess, worry about my age a little bit.
I don't. You look 25, dude.
Thank you. I do. I try not to worry about it, but you know, you look at some actors who don't get their break until they're in their 50s or something. And I'm happy. I love doing it, so I'll do it regardless of whether or not I make it big, I guess.
And that's like the beauty. I think one of the weirdest, coolest parts of chronic illness is it doesn't just change your definition of success or ambition, but it like transforms like how you feel satisfied with life.
Yeah.
That like success is today, and also it's that you have that feeling that you're going to, like, the big break is coming. And it's going to come when you're ready, when your body can handle it. And I think that's, like, it's grateful and holding this like future possibilities, opportunities in your hand, and just being good with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think other people our age have that viewpoint, to be honest.
No, I think there's like a great deal of like emotional and spiritual growth that goes along with chronic conditions, because I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, you've got really two choices with the amount of suffering we have to go through, and that is see it through or not. And I don't blame anyone for either decision, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
I mean, one thing
That's
where
what
people are like,
you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do.
I know some people have like really like gotten taken aback by this, but when people have said like, oh, you're so brave, for going through what you went through. I was like, have you considered that I was just too much of a coward to kill myself?
It's true.
Maybe I'm not brave. Like, maybe I'm just too
scared. The exact same.
You know, so it's like, and, you know, those things are just things you really gotta... It's like we get, like, the same wisdom as, like, a very, very elderly person who's been through some horrendous things, but also has, like, a wonderful family and stuff. You know, I feel like we live... It feels like our souls have lived a million lives in this life, not like just in the past, but it's like there's so many lessons, and I think there's a great deal of emotional maturity that has to go along with it, if for no other reason than if you're dysregulated, doctors are just going to throw you in a psychiatric hospital. Period.
Yep.
Period.
You have to learn how to regulate yourself, and you have to go through it's the same thing as your acting chops. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of go through these painful experiences. And that's the weird thing is like all of us are connected despite having different diseases, different variants of diseases, different privilege levels with these diseases. Mm-hmm. There is one thing that binds all of us, and it's the fucking trauma that we go through and how it transforms us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's like because like, you know, I have PTSD, of course. And I'm always talking to my therapist. I'm always like, so like, you know, when does this, like, get better? She's like, Tara, I don't think you're ever going to have post-traumatic stress disorder when it comes to your health because, like, there is no post. You were born with this, and you will continue to have it until the day you die, unless, you know, who knows where medical science is going to go, right? But as it stands, there is not going to be a post-traumatic stress disorder. She's like, it's just going to be a traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Forever.
Yes.
And I'm like... Okay, thank you.
It doesn't get better. It's like your chronic illness. You just learn how to move with it a little bit better.
You learn to live with it.
You know, those like pictures on Instagram of grief, and it's like grief is like this when it happens, but then the vessel gets bigger around it. Like that's the same. It's the same kind of story. We all have these different little tsunamis that hit us and whatnot, but they either transform you or they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's okay if it doesn't. It's okay if it does. It doesn't really matter. It's just like you're doing and responding to it as you're supposed to in those moments.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that just got pretty existential, which I am really excited about. Dude, same. I could sit and talk with you for truly hours.
Same.
But alas.
But alas.
But alas, my podcast episodes that run that long, I don't know how well they do. Just
right.
It could be interesting to do a 7-hour podcast.
We could do a live stream or something. Some point.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Go a little Joe Rogan 5-hour episode, psychopath.
Jamie, pull this up really quick.
Jamie, quick, put it on the speaker.
Jamie, pull up that picture of grief from Instagram, would you?
Jamie, pass me all of the drugs. That dude's crazy. Yeah, the way I like to wrap the show, other than making fun of Joe Rogan, is to say, what is your one brain cell show? So, like, what are you watching right now that just, like, feels good? You don't really have to, like, put that much time and attention into, but you're just, like, this is nice and distracting.
So I'm watching Stranger Things for the first time. I tend to wait until
a
series has wrapped.
Yes, because then you can watch the
I
whole
like
thing.
to binge it. Correct.
Yes,
so
aligned.
I am on the first episode of season 2. I really enjoy it so far. I'm interested to see how they're going to maintain the show for 4 more seasons.
I've watched one season.
It seemed like it could have easily been a standalone with season 1, so I'm not really sure, but you know, it's nice, and it's also a little bit like spooky because there's been so much conversation lately about, you know, like Mall World and the GATE program and all this stuff, and like, you know, my boyfriend we were watching it and he's like, yo, is this about the GATE program? I'm like, look, I don't know. He's like, does this look like Mall World? I'm like, yeah, the upside down totally look like Mall World. So
yes, it's or like the island. Have you done that deep dive yet? The island off the coast of New York that Stranger Things is apparently based on.
Oh, like Montauk and like Plum Island and all that. Yeah. I knew about that. Yeah, I knew about that from a long time ago, just because the
2020 documentary spiral. Yeah,
I don't know. I just somehow looked into that at some point.
We all go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, and then you.
I think I got there because of Lyme disease. I was like, where did Lyme disease come from? And then it was that whole conspiracy, and I'm like, this is fascinating.
It's fascinating what people come up with, and you never know.
I'm also listening to the Telepathy tapes.
I've been told that I would like that.
it's really validating, especially if you're like on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
Real validating, real fascinating. But really validating, because there's so many things where I'm just like, well, I'm never going to say anything to anybody about that ever, because nobody's going to believe that, and I just assume I'm not perceiving things correctly. But it's been real validating. It's like really, I really like it so far. I have to obviously do my own little fact check deep dive on it, but so far it seems like it's all, legitimate, and it's something I've been listening to, and that's kind of like lower, I guess, effort, even though they're like bigger topics.
Yeah, I think it can still be a big topic, but low effort to just
low effort. Yeah,
it's like comfort content almost, because you see yourself in it.
Yeah, so those are the two things I've been kind of,
I love that,
working with. What about you? What are you watching?
I was just gonna say I'll trade you two. One is a adult cartoon on Netflix called Haunted Hotel. It's awesome. Okay. If you like Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, Rick and Morty, right up your alley. It is so good and a little bit spooky, which I like.
Hell yeah.
Second show is Heated Rivalry, which is a gay hockey show. It is amazing. The fandom and lore is crazy. The backstory of the show, a dream and a check from Canadian taxpayers' dollars. Number one show on HBO right now. Wow. The two actors had like 1,000, 2,000 followers before the show went viral, and now they just signed for 2 more seasons, which is awesome.
That rocks.
Based off a book series.
I love it. That rocks.
A lot of like emotional intelligence in that show. So like every man should watch the show.
Hell yeah.
And the fandom.
Hell yeah.
All right, my love. Thank you so much for joining me on this week of Calling in Sick. As always, feel like I learn so many things about you every time we chat, and you're just so fucking cool.
Oh, same. I love talking with you. It's always so fun.
Likewise. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another week of Calling in Sick, and we will see you next week. Love ya! And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining me for another week of Calling in Sick. As a reminder, I would love for y'all to like, follow, subscribe, save, share with a friend, do all of the things. It truly, truly helps grow this community, and it helps these episodes reach the people that need them the most, whether that's for an educational piece, to have a little laugh, or to not feel so alone. As a reminder, Calling in Sick sits on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, and anywhere else where you can find your listens. From the bottom of my heart, I absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for calling in sick with me every Monday. It's been an honor and a pleasure so far, and I can't wait to continue building this community with y'all. Love you.